Al final del día, podemos soportar más de lo que pensamos. Soy Frida Kahlo. At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can. I am Frida Kahlo. Born in 1907 in Culiacan, Mexico, Frida later changed her birth year to 1910, not to be younger, but to have a connection with the Mexican Revolution that took place from 1910 to 1920. Rooted in a deep respect and appreciation for Aztec civilization, Frida's Mexicanness and fascination with her mixed ancestry lent itself to placing Aztec symbols such as monkeys, skulls, and flowers in many of her paintings. As a child, she never had good health. At the age of 6, she was diagnosed with polio as a result of the infectious disease, which would cause her to walk with a limp all her life. She would be made fun of, so she would wear long dresses to try to cover it. It was her father that would show her how to overcome teasing and loneliness through what was considered unladylike behavior at the time. With his encouragement, she boxed, wrestled, and swam. Frida would grow to denounce colonialism and develop a strong sense of Mexicanidad, a term used to describe an affinity and admiration for indigenous Mexican culture. At the age of 18, she was traveling by bus and a streetcar crashed into it. She broke her collarbone, 2 ribs, and her leg was crushed. Her foot and her shoulder were dislocated, but probably the most painful were the injuries to her spine and pelvis that were broken in 3 places. Her injuries were so extensive, the doctors didn't think she would survive, but a strong spirit like Frida couldn't be crushed. She was unconscious for several weeks. When she woke up, she immediately asked her father to buy her art supplies. He was the person who designed a special stand for her so she could draw laying down. Frida would continue her art and decided to show her work to a respectable and experienced artist, Diego. He thought her work was very good. Something clicked between them, and they got married in 1929. Following her marriage to Diego, she embraced folkloric attire and began wearing the colorful Tijuana dress she is now known for. It's traditional for the matriarchal Zapotec society and represents a culture of female leadership and independence. They were an unlikely couple, her being 21 and him being 41. The couple had a nickname, the Elephant and the Dove, but they entertained each other and were never bored. Frida became pregnant several times, but all of them ended in miscarriages. Frida would never give birth to a healthy child, and she sunk into depression. This is when, for the first time consciously, Frida decided she will paint about herself, and that she would paint the most private, painful aspects of herself, and not only that, but to use the genre that is Mexican, that is religious, political, and traditional, to best convey that, she painted her pain. Frida valued her self-portraits a lot because many of them were an expression of her difficult life and the revolution. She said, quote, "Before it was my earliest experience, I am only a cell in the complex revolutionary mechanism of Peoples for Peace and to the Mexican Indian. Among those great multitudes of Asian people, there will always be the faces of my own, Mexicans, with dark skin and beautiful form, with limitless grace. Black people will be freed, so beautiful, so brave. We are subjugated for now by capitalist countries." Her feelings about the revolution and people's freedoms were strong. In 1940, Frida had very serious health problems and was admitted to a hospital. With every year passing, Frida's condition got worse. She had several serious surgeries. In 1953, her leg had to be amputated because of gangrene. In the same year, she had a personal exhibition in Mexico, which she attended on her hospital bed. In 1954, just before her death, Frida attended a protest against the U.S. intervention in Guatemala. Quote, "I have to fight with all my strength to contribute the few positive things my health allows me to, the revolution, the only true reason to live for." She felt she would die soon. She wrote in her diary, "I hope the exit is joyful, and I hope never to return." Frida finished her last work 8 days before her death. It was originally called Watermelons, but became well known by the quote carved in one of the watermelons, Viva la vida, translates to long live life. The artist died in 1954 at the same house she was born in, just before her 47th birthday. A year later, the house Frida lived in was turned into a museum, and to this day, her fans from all over the world still visit it, known as La Casa Azul. Her last wish was to be remembered as a stern and unshakable revolutionary. In a 1952 letter to friend Antonio Rodriguez, she wrote, "I wish to be worthy, with my paintings, of the people whom I belong, and to the ideas which strengthen me." A prominent critic had summarized attending her last and final show that she would be alive to attend and said, "It is impossible to separate the life and work of the singular person. Her paintings are her autobiography." Al final del día, podemos soportar más de lo que pensamos. Soy